Okay, we have a lot to talk about with Mario Kart World. So we just got our first big look at Mario Kart World a few weeks back, and there has been a lot of information and a lot of videos and a lot of photos that have been going around ever since then, showing off new drivers, new gameplay, more new tracks, and more new returning retros. And there's just a lot to talk about. A lot of mixed feelings, a lot of good feelings, and a lot of bad feelings.
Yeah, a lot of people have been able to play the game at events hosted around the world. New York, Los Angeles, London. I think theirs is currently going on by the time this is being made. I think Singapore's getting there soon. So there's still a lot of gameplay coming out about Mario Kart World. Stuff still being revealed to this day. And I mean, there's just so much to talk about with this game.
I think we should just jump straight into the characters because this is probably the most exciting and anticipating part of Mario Kart World. We've gotten so many returning characters announced and much newcomers. We have even a lot from Tor that haven't been in like the BCP or even a console game before. So we have like Hammerbro, Charging Chuck, Nabbit, and Multimole all making their returns. And then we've also got, fan favorite characters like Wiggler, Bowser Jr., King Boo, Shy Guy, Birdo, all the usual characters we mostly see in most Mario Karts. And we've even got Pauline coming back too.
A lot of very interesting newcomers. Like, I don't think you could predict, like, 80% of these characters. Like, we got Pianta, Spike. Spike was a highly requested one from Tor. Dolphin, of course, the iconic cow. Parabidibud, Peeper, and probably the most interesting newcomer, the Snowman. Just a generic-looking snowman.
Some of these really don't make sense, but I think that's why I love it, because, like, how the heck does a Pokey drive? Or how the heck does a Fishbone drive? Or even a Contour? Like, how does that even work? And a Cataquack? Like, and a Sidestepper? Coin Coffer? Like, what? Like, what are they doing here?
It's definitely the most wackiest set of characters I think I've ever seen in just any game period.
But it works. It works though, because like it's all Mario related characters. It's not like it's crossover characters, which most people don't like, including myself. But like, it's still new characters. I mean, there's still more unique ones they could have brought back or introduced. But hey, Spike's here. That's all that matters to me. That was all who I wanted.
Yeah, a lot of people were very upset when Spike got what is essentially the Smash Bros. Mii suit deconfirmation back during Mario Kart Tour. So, for those Spike fans, I'm very happy to see he finally made the cut this time around.
Yeah, Tor really did him dirty. Like, my goodness. I'm glad he's actually here this time. And better than ever, because he just has a spike ball going out of his mouth for whatever reason.
It's just in his mouth. I don't know how that works, but I'm sure it makes sense somewhere.
So yeah, aside from like the really wacky characters and, a bunch of fan favorite characters coming back, we've also got the costumes making a return to the Mario Kart series after being absent in 8 Deluxe, aside from, the metal characters, but those don't really count as what these Tour ones do. So some of them are returning back from Tour, such as Vacation Peach, you have Aviator Mario, Happy Mario. There's a lot of returning ones from Tour, but there's also a bunch of new ones as well.
Yeah, I'm liking some of the new alts they've come up with this time. Luigi, Bowser Jr., King Boo, and Wario are just some of the characters that I think, wow, the amount of alts and creativity gone into them they're just absolutely amazing. And it's just like, man, I don't want to keep talking about Tour, but it feels like these were kind of planned for Tour.
A lot of these felt like they were scrapped for Tour, and apparently I've heard recently that the King Boo alt that we've been seeing going around, which is called Aristocrat, I think I said that right, Koopa V, who was a very well-known data miner in the Tour community, has said that this potentially could have been the scrapped King Boo alt we were supposed to get a few years back. We've also only got one DK alt announced so far, which is the All-Terrain, which I originally thought was going to be Gladiator, but I'm sure Gladiator has to be one of his alts, because it seems like most of the characters announced so far are going to have like at least 9 to 10 alts each. There is so much, it's actually crazy.
There is a lot of alts for each character, and I think that's a good sign as well, because that means that there's going to be so much content to unlock in the game, which is something that I think 8 Deluxe lacked with in terms of single player content.
I think one of the alts that intrigued me the most was the Boy Scout Bowser Jr. looking one, because you could see like a bunch of badges on the back of his like spikes. It looked really awesome. I just loved it. It fits Bowser Jr. Even some of the Tor original alts got some redesigns. Like Daisy Swimmer looks a little different now. Like she's kind of showing off a little bit more skin than what she did in Tor.
That she does. That she does.
Bowser's got some new alts as well. None have been seen in Tor as well. There's some, I assume, like all-terrain Bowsers, a biker Bowser, and some that haven't really been announced yet. They look really awesome, though. So we've also got a Toadette alt that was shown off, which is called the Soft Server Toadette. And it also really just does feel like a Tor alt that was meant to happen, but just never did for some reason. We've also got Wicked Wasp Wario, the triple W Wario, I guess we could just, call it.
Looks very close, almost close to another Mario Kart character who, we don't know if we'll end up actually making the roster or not.
We've also got one last thing that I do want to talk about these alts is the Burger Bud Toad. That is going to be one of my mains, I'm not going to lie.
This is one of the best alts in the game so far, just because just put a burger on Toad. It just works.
So the question I have about this alt specifically is that, is it like a hat that he's wearing? Because his whole head shape is taken off, or does he take off his top part of his head and just replaces it with an entire burger?
I think you're asking too many questions here.
So we do have some karts to talk about. I don't really want to spend too much time on this, but we do have some returning ones like Pipe Frame from Super Mario Kart, B-Dasher from DS, Tiny Titan, Bumblebee, Cloud9, and Bitty Buggy. All of those have been confirmed to be coming back, and they removed the glider function to this game, so there is no unique gliders, which I don't know how to feel about that. I'm okay with it. But, we have some new looking ones. The standard cart looks like one I'd actually play as. It looks very cool. You have the charging truck, which looks really, really nice. And you've got Baby Blooper. You've got Carpet Flyer, which looks outstanding. It's basically just a Shy Guy Bazaar glider. Shy Guy Bazaar cart. It looks really cool.
Probably my favorite new cart so far is just a magic carpet.
I am surprised there's not very much returning from Tor from what they've shown off just yet. We do have the Snow Skimmer, which looks like the Snow Skimmer. I'm pretty sure it is. That's the only one we've got from Tor so far, which surprises me a bit.
Maybe there could be some carts that they're just not showing us yet.
We do have ATVs returning from 8. Some of them look pretty cool. We haven't seen too much on ATVs. We do have some bikes. Most of them look pretty alright, except we do have the Dolphin Dasher coming back from Wii. Personally, one of my favorite bikes from that game. And it looks amazing.
Love the Dolphin Dasher, and you can have the Dolphin drive the Dolphin Dasher.
Because why not?
Perfect.
How are we feeling on Mario Bros. Circuit?
I'm probably the minority here that's like, it looks alright. It's a cool, interesting concept for a first track. It's not in a stadium this time. But at the same time, I'm really kind of debating, like, what makes this a Mario Bros. Track? Because I'm not really seeing it.
I'm not really seeing the vibe of how it is called Mario Bros. Circuit, but the track layout itself, pretty standard, nothing too special. I'm honestly, somewhat excited for it. But, it feels a lot like a Radiator Springs sort of track to me. I don't know why. It just fits more of like a Disney Pixar Cars sort of track. We've also got Crown City, which apparently has 2 different variants, at least what's been confirmed so far from the cup layout. And honestly, Crown City, it kind of feels samey to the Tour City tracks, I'm not gonna lie. Some areas kind of reminded me a lot of Los Angeles Laps. I'm not sure if anyone else got vibes off of that, but
it kind of reminded me a little bit of Los Angeles mixed in with a bit of Tokyo.
Yes.
Oh, a little bit.
Yeah, Tokyo does kind of give some vibes off too. It's just, I don't know, like it's all right. I kind of have to play it for myself, because so far what I'm seeing, it looks more flat than most of the tour tracks, to me at least.
I mean, I do like how you can go on the rooftop and like kind of grind across the rails, jumping from rail to rail. I think that is probably the best part of the track so far.
Yeah. That is a really cool part. We've also got Whistletop Summit, which I don't think we've really seen much about it, but so far from what I've seen though, it looks like it has a lot of branching paths, and that already got me intrigued.
I like this one. It gave me strangely Western Land from Mario Party 2, as well as Calamari Desert vibes a little bit. And I mean, I'm normally the person that really hates Calamari Desert, but I really like how this one looks. I really like the branching paths and the way the new mechanics are integrated in, because this one I think takes the advantage of them the most so far.
And last but not least, for the Mushroom Cup, DK Spaceport, which is honestly probably my most anticipated Nitro track, because not only is it a nod back to the original Donkey Kong game, but the general vibe of it and the vibrant colors just stick out to me a lot. And it also feels like a track that would have fit very well with Tour's art style, which I'm wondering if that was one of the canceled Nitros for that game. But, you know, I'm really excited for it.
It's definitely one of the highlights for me so far in terms of the tracks. I really like the mechanical DK. It looks funny but also threatening at the same time. And I really like how at the end of the course you're basically playing Donkey Kong, because you're trying to dodge the barrels and you can jump on the rails to try and like avoid them. And you can also hit them with items as well. I think it's a really interesting course. And for a finale to the Mushroom Cup, it definitely goes out on a bang.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people's complaints with it is it's just a bunch of straight lines and just dodging a few things, which, yeah, I could see that complaint a little bit, but I think that just makes it more interesting to me, because I think when you go further up, it brings out more obstacles than what it was in the previous layer that you're driving up. So I think that makes it much more intriguing. If it was the same thing for like every section of the track, then yeah, I would say kind of mediocre, but I don't think that's the case. So I'm honestly just really, really excited for it. So on to the Flower Cup, we've got DS Desert Hills. A
very interesting choice for, first off, the Flower Cup, the first retro track.
Yeah, that is... So this is where the whole big controversy starts, which we will get to in a little bit. But, you know, Desert Hills starting off the Flower Cup, not only does that kind of basically scrap the idea of having retros be, you know, Shell, Banana, Leaf, and Lightning, but this also brings in the question, why?
It's definitely something I'm still getting used to. I don't think I'm ever truly going to get used to the way they're doing retros now, but for a person that's been playing Mario Kart for as long as I have, it still feels very strange.
So I wouldn't be bothered by this track being here if it wasn't just, you know, if it was just a single DS course, totally fine. But there's an issue that I will talk about towards the end of the cup, which does bother me.
No.
But let's talk about Desert Hills. Once again, why?
Probably one of the most boring desert tracks in the series. I mean, I get why some people like it. The music's nice, but that's pretty much it.
I honestly don't know or see the benefit of why this was added. Where was Dry Dry Ruins exactly? Like that one, I'm not going to get over it. I mean, even if that was one of the cases, they could have chosen like Yoshi Desert too. If they really wanted to have a desert track starting off this cup, you could have just chosen Yoshi Desert or Dry Dry Ruins. Those two are more intriguing desert tracks. Yoshi Desert got a really nice upgrade in Tour. I don't see why they couldn't just added one of those. Then again, we haven't seen much of Desert Hills, and it also looks much different than its past counterparts, so I guess we can't really say too much. We're just going to base it off of what Desert Hills was like for everyone in the past. Next up, we've got Shy Guy Bazaar, which, honestly, I'm really excited for this one. Even though it's during the daytime as what the icon shows, at least we know now that the weather does change over time, so we could just make it like the original Shy Guy Bazaar and just have it nighttime. But also, again, we've only seen a little bit of this track too, so we can't really say much on if there's going to be a lot changed with it, or if it's basically just like the original, because I don't think we've seen anything past the little market section.
I really like this one. This is, to me, a great remake, not just aesthetically, but like lore-wise. This now takes place outside what is essentially Daisy's palace, which means that this track looks to take place in Daisy's kingdom now, Sarasaland, and I really like that detail. I think it's a really nice continuing lore detail that I really like about some of these Mario Kart tracks.
That's what I love about World, is that they're really trying to connect all these tracks into just one big world, which is something that Double Dash kind of almost was trying to do. You know how like the tracks are kind of all interconnected, like you could see them all in the background and whatnot. This is kind of like an upgraded version of that, and I love it so much. Next up, we've got a very infamous track from the N64 era, which hadn't got a remake until now, which is Wario Stadium. Now, I think most of us could have said, hey, we all saw this coming back for this game. I honestly didn't think it was actually going to be back, but I'm not complaining. Even though it's got a very, very stupid layout now, I still think we're in for a good time with this track.
Some may argue the original version was probably a bit too long and very generic in its turns, so I understand why they cut it down. I just hope it isn't as bad as Sky Garden, my beloved. I'm still annoyed about what happened with you, but hopefully this new reimagining of Wario Stadium will do a good job.
And for the final track of the Flower Cup, we've got DS Airship Fortress. Wait, there's 2 GS tracks in one cup. Why is there 2 GS tracks in one cup? The retro rules just don't exist anymore. Even though they don't exist, and I would have been totally fine if they were different from different games, why is it that there's 2 DS tracks in one cup? This is not only a problem for this cup, but there's another few more cups that have the same exact issue, and they could have spread these tracks around much better, in my opinion.
I don't know why they decided to go down this route, because I know a lot of people were talking about this when the BCP was going on. Like, you can't have 2 of the same game tracks in one cup. And then here's Mario Kart World be like, okay, well, hold your beer, because I'm going to do this.
Now thinking about that, since you mentioned the BCP, Tour kind of did also ruin it a little bit, because, you know, there was 2 Tour tracks in one singular cup, so I guess they thought, hey, let's just do this of any game now.
There are no rules, Ryder. There are no rules.
But then again, there were reasons onto that, because they were trying to preserve Tour's content, and also the city tracks, they had to have been put in every single cup, otherwise there would have been overlays anyway.
True.
This doesn't have an excuse with how this whole layout works, but hey, let's stop complaining. Airship Fortress is back, despite it returning so many times lately. Airship Fortress, this remake specifically, I think I am most excited for, aside from Toad's Factory. Airship Fortress just looks outstanding, and I'm glad it didn't get added to the BCP after all, because it just looks fantastic in here.
It's finally on a console. Airship Fortress is no longer handheld locked. Let's go.
That's another thing that I'm really excited about, is that it's no longer handheld locked. It's officially on a console. Same thing with the beginner of the Star Cup, which is DK Pass. The third DS track we've talked about, by the way. And also, I like DK Pass. DK Pass is a really good DS track. This game's version of it looks and plays pretty well from what I've seen. But they kind of took a lot of inspiration from DK Summit towards the end, which I'm not too fond of, because it kind of makes this track just feel like DK Summit and not what it felt like before.
I know, right? Look at the track icon. It's literally it's literally that one Shy Guy from DK Summit just like flipped to the other side. And people will probably think it's DK Summit. And I wouldn't blame you for thinking that, because it feels very copy and paste. This is one of the tracks we saw at the Treehouse, and this looks fine. It looks a lot more open, but this is definitely one of the retro tracks that I think didn't get changed that much. The music still sounds fine. Hopefully that cool item box shortcut is still there. I don't think I saw it in the Treehouse, but I'm hoping it's still there so we can abuse stars.
Yeah, it would be really cool to see that. Maybe even have the new Kamek power-up be like, you know, one of those unique ones that you could get up there, but we'll see what happens. We'll see more gameplay as it goes on. So Starview Peak, another amazing looking Nitro track, and honestly, everyone can agree when I say this, it feels like a sequel to Rosalina's Ice World, in a good way, of course, because my goodness.
I mean, this track is, again, just like with Spaceport, I think this is another big highlight. I don't know what it is about Nintendo putting Rosalina with ice lately. I don't get the the theme of that. I mean, it's an absolute beautiful track. I really like how it looks. Just the general Aurora Borealis vibes with it. It just looks really nice. That's all I really have to say. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, we haven't seen much about this track yet, but I cannot wait to see more, and I hope it's at the Direct as well. And next up for the Star Cup, we've got Sky High Sunday, the only tour-related track that has been confirmed so far, which I was very skeptical at first. I'm like, really? Sky High Sunday? Possibly the worst tour Nitro out there? But this game actually did it justice, I think. It does look much better. It looks like the gameplay is actually fluent and it's not like crap like 8 Deluxe had it. I'm actually kind of excited for this one, and that's very difficult for me to say.
Can't believe I'm saying that this track is actually good. It feels like it was done justice. There's so much new stuff here. There's like a new upper route where it leads to a grind rail. There's all these cool advertisements everywhere, and it actually feels like a Sky High Sunday. There's ice cream everywhere.
I think the best way to describe this new remake is basically if it took itself seriously in the BCP and was made with, you know, the original 8 tracks in mind. Last but not least, we've got 3DS Wario Shipyard, which, oh my gosh, what they made this track like extremely very interesting to me. Like, I wasn't a big fan of this track in Tour or anything. It wasn't a bad track for me necessarily. It was just something I didn't care much for, but they made this track really interesting.
It went from like a forgotten ship to a very kind of like a forgotten ghost underwater ship, and I strangely like it. I really like what they did with this track.
The thing that with what World does is that they kind of got rid of the underwater gameplay, and so with Wario Shipyard on the other hand, it is an underwater track, but they kind of made it so it was like you're kind of driving through it like it was first sinking down, if that makes sense. Like, it's kind of like a lore aspect I'd like to think about. Like, the ship is fully sinking for the first time, and you're just driving right on through it while it's sinking. And then, like, the past counterparts, like in 7 and Tour, it's like when it's fully sank. Like, honestly, that's what I kind of like thinking about this.
Oh, are you delving into a Mario Kart timeline here?
Yes, because World makes it more sense for a timeline aspect now. So honestly, this could take place before those games. And now what would have been the retro tracks, we've got the Shell Cup, which does actually start out with a retro course, and that is Koopa Troopa Beach from the SNES, which I'm not sure if this is the first or second or if it's both combined. But either way, kind of excited for this one. And I mean, it's an SNES track. What else could you say about it? But I love Koopa Troopa Beach from the SNES.
Same. I've been waiting for a long time for Koopa Beach 1 to be remade, because it always seems like Koopa Beach 2 always got the special treatment. So if this is either fused or it's 1 or 2, I mean, I like Koopa Troopa Beach. I'm really excited to see what they do with the remix, because Koopa Troopa Beach is a jazzin'. It's a jazzin' song. Fairway Oasis also feels like a Tour Nitro that could have happened, but it's giving me a lot of like Madagascar vibes, which I'm kind of very intrigued by. I like when you're driving, I think in the track there was some footage that like there's like the animals are running with you, and I think that's really awesome. I'm pretty sure we also see the what are those things from Super Mario Bros. Wonder? You know, like the bull characters. I'm pretty sure they run along with you from that track. The moose. I think they're called moose. But yeah, they were shown off in, I think, the main trailer itself, where they were just running along with you. And honestly, that's really cool. I like how the story building aspect of World is really going all in with putting these games and other Mario Kart games together. Now, the next one we've got is Crown City. Yeah, I mean, there's no beating around the bush. I mean, if you see a red gate, it's nighttime, grind rails, it's Radical Highway. And also, I think Black Doom might have been messing with the track again. Black Doom definitely was just like, what can I do to make this about Radical Highway? We honestly haven't seen much about this version of Crown City. It's mostly looking to be a nighttime track, but I assume it, just takes place on another part of Crown City, so it's just towards nighttime, I guess. Yeah. hoping it's a lot more interesting Crown City than the other one.
And lastly for the Shell Cup is Peach Stadium, which is basically kind of like the main Mario Circuit track for the game, because you know Mario Bros Circuit kind of doesn't really feel like a Mario Circuit. Peach Stadium kind of fits more with that.
Yeah, although I'm surprised with a track like that though, with a big stadium, is very kind of late into the game.
But yeah, we got a pretty big glimpse at what I think is the Peach Stadium from the main trailer. Before they showed off the logo for the game, they kind of showed off the track right before it, and I assume that's Peach Stadium. I'm pretty sure it is at least. Onto the Banana Cup, and we've got GCN Peach Beach, which wasn't really a track I thought would have been back here, but hey, I'm glad it's back because I love it.
Oh, I absolutely love Peach Beach. Not just because of the traumatic experiences of the Cataquacks. It's going to be a new generation of kids raging at their TVs.
It looks like that they're much larger this time too, so it's probably much easier to get swooped up by them, but honestly, I'm ready for it. It's an obstacle that's very unique for that track, which also kind of leads into this next track, which is called Salty Speedway, which is an interesting name, but it looks like it takes place right outside Peach Beach.
I've not seen much footage of this one myself, so I don't really know what to say about it, but I mean, I like the name.
Yeah, we haven't really seen much about Salty Speedway at all. We just know that it's a beach-related track, so I assume it just takes place right outside Peach Beach. Now, next up, we've got Dino Jungle. Wait a minute, another GCN. Yep, it's back again, guys. Another GCN track with another GCN. Let's just forget about it. We already know it's going to be a thing. So, Dino Jungle as a track. This one looks pretty good. You know, I think the people that thought should have been in the Booster Course Pass are pretty glad now that it's in here because it's more, you know, it looks a lot better than what A Deluxe probably could have done with it.
I really like this one again. Really like how this one looks. Although gives me a lot of Jurassic Park vibes this time.
It's looking to be interesting. It pretty much resembles Dino Dino as what it was originally like, but it also kind of adds in the more of like a laboratory aspect of it, where it's kind of like a museum now. That's what it kind of gives vibes off of, which is okay. I honestly don't mind it. Now, the final track for the Banana is called Great Block Ruins, a very interesting name, but also, I don't think we've seen very much on this course.
There was that bit from the trailer. I thought it was a Donkey Kong Country Returns course at first, because it kind of looked like a banana temple, but it's not a banana temple, it's a question mark block, so yeah, not really much to say about this one yet, because we haven't really seen much footage on it, but I imagine it'll end up being a good track.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty cool looking track, but we'll have to see what it is like when we actually do get more information and more gameplay of it. But for now, we would just say, hey, looks like an exciting one to see more gameplay on. Now for the Leaf Cup, we've got Cheep Falls, or at least that's what the French translation is for it. It's called Chutes Cheep for the French, but it seems like in English it is called Cheep Falls. I think we've seen some gameplay of this. It was more shown off when Captain Toad was driving through that little waterfall section, but otherwise, I don't think there's really been much gameplay yet. So I would just say wait and see for what we have for that. Just the same thing as Block Ruins. So next up we've got is Dandelion Depths, which looks really reminiscent to Maple Treeway's colors, and that's what I love about it. It's got a very unique atmosphere. Again, Dandelion Depths, we haven't really seen much on yet. You know, it's looking pretty cool from what we've seen so far. We have those little traffic cone looking guys, which I don't know if they've been in any Mario games at all. I could be wrong.
But I have noticed in this track though that there's still like leaf piles on the road. So there's still kind of that Maple Treeway aspect.
And we do know that we can drive on that little train section because we did see it towards the end of the main trailer. So I'm really excited to see more information about this. Hopefully it's revealed in the Nintendo Direct for Mario Kart World. Next one we've got up is Boo Cinema. And yeah, we could just say this right now. Probably one of the best spooky tracks that I've ever seen. We've seen minimal gameplay once again, but it's looking really cool. And it's a very unique type of Boo track. It looks a little bit kind of like Banshee Boardwalk in some sections, but it's not. And then you go into like this little section where you go into the cinema and you see like all these little like tapes kind of shown off on the side. It looks really cool.
This is honestly one of the best creative tracks so far. Definitely one of the best Boo related tracks so far, because some of the Boo tracks, they've never really been like big highlights except for maybe Twisted Mansion in the last game. What I really like about this one is it kind of continues Peach's like acting arc that she kind of started in Showtime. So, hey, you know, for people that have played Showtime, I'm so sorry, can get a little bit of excitement out of that.
And then we've got Dry Bones Burnout for the final part of the Leaf Cup, and I'm not gonna lie, haven't seen anything on this one.
I imagine it's like a lava theme track and like just a whole bunch of dry bones and sounds intense.
Now for the Lightning Cup, this one is probably the most weirdest Lightning Cup I've ever seen, which yes, most of them are retros, two of them of which are Wii, Moo Moo Meadows and Toad's Factory, which Moo Moo Meadows looks pretty nice. Don't know why it's back again, but hey, it's Moo Moo Meadows. It's a simplistic track, but it fits well, and also we have to give some cow representation, so this was probably the most likely option, even though they could have chose Moo Moo Farms, but hey, Moo Moo Meadows, whatever.
Why not at this point? You know, retro track rules are thrown out of the door. Any track can come back at this point. Why not? Moo Moo Meadows again, even though Moo Moo Farm is sitting right there.
We've also got Choco Mountain, which this is probably going to be the most interesting talked about course we talk about today. This one is terrible. I'm sorry.
What did they do to this one? I don't even recognize this one anymore.
It's not Choco Mountain. If it wasn't called Choco Mountain, I would be totally fine with whatever it is. And I'm still fine with whatever it is. But it's not Choco Mountain. You cannot call this Choco Mountain.
Beautiful cave section from Touring 8 Deluxe is just gone, replaced by a generic one. Brock section is way smaller and doesn't even look fun anymore. And then the cool little mountain thing at the end, it's not as tall. It's like everything about this track has just been taken away, and for some reason it's now associated to Charging Chuck.
Of course, we have the other Wii track I was talking about, which is Toad's Factory, the most requested track to come back for this game, and it looks outstanding. I'm glad nothing was really changed too much about it. It just basically looks like a modern rendition of what I would expect out of this track.
It looks absolutely fine. It seems to have kept that cool detail it had in Wii, although I think the conveyor belt thing has been changed to the simplified stuff from 8 Deluxe, so, I mean, apart from that, it looks the exact same. It's looking good. Can't wait to hear that remix, because the short bit of the remix we heard from the reveal trailer, oh baby, give it to me. Give it to me right now.
And the final track for this cup is Bowser's Castle. Not a retro Bowser's Castle, just the new Bowser's Castle, which I think is looking a lot better than some of the past few we've gotten. And I really, really love that gliding section we saw.
It's just the way you kind of lift off while the characters are holding onto the cart for dear life. I think that's really cool. But also, this is ending a cup. This isn't the third track. This is ending a cup.
You know, most of the time Bowser's Castle is always the semi-finale for the, you know, main Nitro Cups, but I think this one kind of fits as a finale on its own. It's so ambitious of a Bowser's Castle track that I think it works perfectly as finale for a cup. And what presumably would be another cup we would have to unlock is the Special Cup, which we have really no idea what's going to be in this apart from, you know, Rainbow Road. I mean, that's the only obvious choice. We apparently do have a track called Acorn Heights, which we do know is the Wiggler track, which I don't think anything has been shown off about that track. They're purposely hiding it for some reason. What if, in a way, it's like Acorn Plains, but mixed with like a jungle, and it plays like the Acorn Plains theme or something, like a remix of it? That would be kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie.
I was thinking that as well, because I think in one screenshot they were showing toad houses, which look very similar to how they look in the new Super games.
SNES Mario Circuit, which isn't just SNES Mario Circuit, it's 1, 2, and 3 combined into this one big track, which I'm pretty sure it's going to be called Super Mario Circuit, and they're going to probably make it sound like it's a new track, but it's just, you know, a remix of what the original 3 tracks were laid out like, but they're just combined into one huge track, which I think is very, very exciting to hear. It makes those tracks much more ambitious and not just something that's like, oh, it's this track, who cares?
Yeah, I actually feel excited about an SNES Mario Circuit. It's just like being excited for it is just crazy. I mean, I like the idea of all 3 of them being together. Yes, that means we're all getting SNES Mario Circuit 3 again. You know, it's fine. It'll do the job. But of course, F in the chat for Mario Circuit 4, that track is no longer canon, according to this game, so...
Another thing about these SNES combinations is apparently Ghost Valley 1, 2, and 3 are supposedly going to be connected before the entrance of Boo Cinema. Maybe that's possible? It does kind of look like that in the icon. Maybe that's where it is before the Boo Cinema track itself. We'll see. And apparently they're going to really go into Choco Island 1 and 2 potentially being the mix with Choco Mountain. I honestly could see that. They're going to include these SNES tracks, whatever. They're not going to be a big part of these main tracks, I guess. They're more of just extra additions, which I'm totally fine with. And according to the wiki, we also have Vanilla Lake 1 possibly in the south part of where Sky High Sundae is, which wouldn't really surprise me, but why wouldn't you just include Vanilla Lake 2 at that point too?
I'm probably stretching it a little bit. Maybe we can see some stuff from RMX Vanilla Lake in there somewhere?
So moving on to the battle tracks of this game. We do know that N64 Big Donut, it's making his return. Hasn't been remade since 7, which honestly, kind of a recent remake anyway still, but by all means, it's a different track that isn't, you know, not Mario, Battle Course 1 from SNES or GBA. You know, it's still something unique. So I'm kind of excited for this one. It's just you know, it's that huge donut and then you just have that jump in the middle. It's an alright battle course.
A lot of people say it's a fan favorite, so long-hard N64 fans, I think they're going to be happy seeing it back.
And apparently there is some speculation going around if Wii Thwomp Desert is back too, which is actually a really, really cool battle track. I loved it from the Wii because you always had to go like straight towards the middle to get the item boxes, but you have to watch out for the thwomp and watch out from getting sunk into like the pit, the sand pit section. And once when the thwomp bounces down, it's like a huge wavy road, even more wavy than the rainbow roads. And you have to watch out because you have those cactuses that are in the back. And if you get hit by them, you lose a balloon. So I kind of do hope this one is actually Thwomp Desert because it's been found in the desert south of Airship Fortress. So it does seem realistic.
I'm not really familiar a lot with Wii's battle stages, but I think I remember Thwomp Desert the most because I'm pretty sure in a tournament mode in Mario Kart Wii, I think you could fight the Womp as one of the bosses.
Now, for what we could see for the rest of the battle courses, not sure what other retros we might see. I think DS Twilight House is possible. Not only was it remade in Tour, but it does feel like it would fit a lot with like the Ghostly section. So I think that one's possible. For new ones, I'm not entirely sure because it's not like we have any confirmed information that there is going to be new ones. I assume there will be, but we just haven't seen anything yet.
I could see one being set in Crown City. Kind of feels like they can set up like a battle stage there.
What if they did one of the Tour City tracks? You know, like New York Minute or Paris Promenade, the ones that were remade. That would kind of fit, maybe, but then at that point, you might as well just add them as one of the retro tracks.
We don't know how they're going to be handling some of the new battle courses in here yet, but I really hope it's not anything like original Mario Kart 8. Please, let's not go back to that. That was a nightmare.
Well, we do know that it's not going to really be like that because, you know, we do have Big Donut and Thwomp Desert, possibly Thwomp Desert. So those are the two retros. So those are already a plus sign to say that we're not going to see any that are like 8, and I don't think we ever will again. Apart from that, we haven't seen much on battle mode itself. We have seen that there is an icon for balloon and coin, so maybe that's the only modes we get. Or we could unlock more later on in the story mode of the game, or we could see other modes and they just didn't want to show that off yet. We'll see when the direct comes out, because I'm sure battle mode is going to be a little section in there. And of course, we've got some of the new modes that are going to be in this game, like the open world, which we touched on a little bit, but I'm personally really excited. A lot of people on Twitter are hating on it because it looks boring. I don't see that, honestly. I think that there's a lot of aspects that make it much more interesting than what people are thinking it's going to be. Because yes, a lot of it is straight lines, but you can go on the side roads. Like, you don't have to go in a straight line if you don't want to.
No, you can literally just go anywhere. It's really interesting. The treehouse are kind of leading to that there's more to it than meets the eye. They could have something like expanding on Mario Kart DS's mission modes with like side quests and stuff like that. Probably how I think we're going to be unlocking most of the game's content.
And I'm glad we've also got that coming back, is unlocking content, because 8 and 8 Deluxe kind of really threw that away. I mean, 8 was pretty normal, but 8 Deluxe threw it all away, and that was disappointing.
Yeah.
Of course, we've got the new Knockout Tour, which is basically just elimination mode, and I'm very excited for this one. I'm going to be probably spending most of my time with this mode online, because that's going to be very interesting with 24 players, and you have to make sure to stay up in the more higher places, otherwise you'll be eliminated. I could see a lot of rage moments going on with that. That's why I'm really excited for stuff like that, especially when we have VC coming to Switch 2. It's going to be a banging time.
So many Fs. Yeah, so many slurs, potentially. I can just see it coming from a mile away. But, yeah, racing from one end to the other, just instantly, like there's no loading screen, you're just racing from one corner to the next, each having their own checkpoints. It looks like each knockout lasts like 10 minutes, so it's a long mode. It's a really long race.
Yeah, it's basically just going to one landmark to the final landmark. Usually there's like, what is there, like 5 or 6 different landmarks you have to go to, so they're from Nitros and Retros. And for the cups, they actually brought back some icons from the BCP. You have Spiny, Moon, Golden, Dash, Cherry, and you got some new ones like the Cloud Cup, which is the item from Super Mario Galaxy, and then you've got the Extra Hearts Cup, and then you've also got something like simple like the Ice Flower Cup. So yeah, there's a lot of these in the game. Like, there's multiple cups you can choose upon. It explores like every single track that is offered in the game. We don't know if there's going to be more tracks shown off that they haven't said yet. Possible. But maybe we're going to probably see some DLC or updates, I would assume. I definitely think World has a lot of potential for DLC and updates. But like Unfunny Meat said on Twitter, this game does feel like the one game that doesn't seem like it would ever get DLC or updates, because it feels like a complete package for once.
I think Nintendo knows that, especially because the Booster Course Pass did so well. And I don't think we'll get something similar to that, by the way, but I think Nintendo will do something like, we'll probably get like free updates with new alts, but then we'll get like probably like an expansion or something, like we did with Splatoon 3. Like, you can go to a new island and it will feature new tracks. Maybe that's where we get our Woohoo, our Maka Woohoo and Woohoo Loop stuff. That's probably where we'll get it. You know, I do think this game will get some kind of DLC support for a long time.
That was basically all of our thoughts on Mario Kart World. We just kind of wanted to share our thoughts in this. And what are your theories on the Mario Kart World Direct? What do you think is going to be shown off? Because I think Battle Mode is going to be a huge one. They might actually show off a little bit of Rainbow Road. They might go into detail on what you can collect on the world, open world. I'm not expecting much else. Maybe a jukebox mode, because we have seen other music from other games and some remixed ones from past games that are being shown off a lot while driving. So maybe it's potentially possible we might see a jukebox mode, mainly because it's Mario's 40th anniversary this year, and they're just, you know, trying to lean on putting a bunch of random tracks you can listen to while driving around, which I think is really cool if that's the case.
I love that feature. There's a lot of remixes I've heard already, and I'll list off some of my favorites. Like, you got the new Super Mario Bros. Wii credits that's getting remixed. You've got the iconic Mario Kart Wii credits, which is absolutely beautiful. I kind of cried when I heard that for the first time. There's some stuff from 3D World. There's some stuff from 8 that got remixed. Sure, there's a lot of people that are sad that we're not getting a big anniversary 3D Mario game this year, but Mario Kart World is essentially going to be our anniversary game, and you know what? I think that's perfect.
One last thing we do want to mention before we do end this off is my original retro track predictions, because as you all may know, I've been kind of slow with videos, and I've explained it a little bit in some past videos and on my Discord. You know, I never got the chance to go around and actually show off my original predictions, so I just wanted to show it off here because I did, you know, I still put effort into this stuff, and I was almost done with the script before Mario Kart World was fully revealed, so I felt like, hey, I should still show off my original predictions I had stored on my computer for like a year now. I thought it was pretty good. You guys can let me know down below what your thoughts are on this. I didn't really want to go into it. I just kind of wanted to show off and just be like, hey, these were my original predictions. There's no point of making an actual video now. So yeah, let me know down below what you thought of my original predictions and compare it to what World has if you really want to. I know there's could probably be a lot of people that are going to be like, yeah, this list is mid or something, but hey, I don't care. I didn't make the actual video, so deal with it. Alright, but that's it. That's all of our thoughts on Mario Kart World, and I can't wait to see what we're going to get at the Direct.
There's going to be so much info revealed about the game. I mean, this is a launch title. It's a launch title.
Exactly. That's the most crazy part. Mario Kart as a launch title is such a smart move just because 8 Deluxe did so well. I'm so excited for this game. The price tag, yeah, expensive. I think they should put it down. But if you think about it, if they give us free updates, it would kind of be essentially the same thing as paying for 8 Deluxe and the BCP. Like, combining those together, you have to remember, that's like $85 still for both to get the full experience of 8 Deluxe. So this could be the same way with this game, except they're giving us free updates. Probably not going to be the case, but, you know, just something to think about just in case if it does happen. But thank you all so much for watching and listening. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on Mario Kart World, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out, stay safe, and goodbye.
Bye-bye.